This is Jane. Jane has arthritis in her right knee. Her knee is constantly painful, it wakes her up at night, and she has difficulty walking long distances. This is a knee replacement, which is a wonderful operation for alleviating the pain, loss of function, and impact of quality of life that you can suffer when you have arthritis in your knee. Women are 1.5 times more likely to suffer from knee arthritis than men. Yet despite this, the odds of a knee replacement being offered to a male patient is 22 times higher than that of a female patient. I'm an orthopaedic surgeon. I specialise in the treatment of disorders of the bones, joints, muscles and tendons. Despite females making up 50% of medical school graduates in Australia, only about 13% of surgeons are female. In orthopaedics, it's 5%. The stereotypical orthopaedic surgeon is a tall, white, rugby-loving male. This is me with my fellow orthopaedic training cohort several years ago. I didn't get the memo about dark pants, and we're not a particularly diverse bunch. Despite advances in achieving equity in workplaces and society in general, many industries, such as surgery, are still suffering from a large gender gap. In life, many people don't have equal access to opportunities. Unconscious bias can hinder advancement, and diversity just isn't there. There are things we can do to change this. We're not going to get there until we have more female representation in these male-dominated areas, until we have more minorities in leadership positions, until we have more diversity across all aspects of society. But why does this matter? Let's consider Jane again. Surgeons can fall victim to the same social stereotyping and bias that affect all of our behaviours. Unconscious bias can affect how we listen to people, how we interpret their story, how we dismiss or trivialise their symptoms. Some people just feel more comfortable or more valued when they are interacting with people similar to themselves. Men and women communicate differently, and doctors not aware of these differences might dismiss or trivialise symptoms. Diversity adds value to any profession. Diverse views are necessary for the success of any organisation or company. Full stop, there is no argument. Sometimes we shy away from situations where we find ourselves in the minority. Subtle or unintentional messaging can make us think, oh, maybe this isn't for us. Consciously or unconsciously, people in the majority, and even sometimes people similar to yourselves, can try and discourage you from what you are trying to achieve because you are different or unfamiliar to them. I was told many times as a medical student, oh, surgery is not really a good profession for women. It's a bit hard. So what? I can do anything a man can do. I was told, it's a bit of a boys' club. So what? It's my passion, I'm coming in anyway. I was told, it's a bit hard to do surgery and have kids. Yes, it's a juggle, as any parent would tell you, but it's not impossible. I ask you to consider the positives in taking a road less travelled, of a path not set in stone, with the potential for a wonderful, unexpected view just around the corner. This path can offer you many challenges, open up more opportunities, and give you the opportunity to innovate and bring change from within. Now, I don't mean to trivialise the difficulties that people can find on these paths. As Jerry Seinfeld said, sometimes the road less travelled is less travelled for a reason. There are many tragic stories of bullying, harassment, discrimination in surgery and in other areas. Some people have done the hard work, yet are never considered part of the tribe, and have looked over for advancement or reward. Sometimes, speed bumps come from within. How can we navigate these seas of unconscious bias when we are anchored down by our own self-doubt or imposter syndrome? Just because something is difficult or dangerous doesn't mean it can't be navigated safely. A wily sea captain with the right knowledge and determination has more chance in hostile waters than a random in a rowboat. So let's build our arsenal, and we can do this by taking some pages from an old spy training manual. The Moscow Rules were a set of rules developed during the Cold War to help operatives who were working in the most difficult and hostile of environments. I think we can take some of these and use them when we find ourselves in situations where we are not part of the majority. First of all, assume nothing. Assuming that your path is going to be difficult is not helpful. If you go into a situation thinking the worst, thinking that everyone is going to be out to get you, waiting for you to fail, this is going to bring you down, weigh you down, and stop you from advancing. Instead, go in with a blank slate. Forget your preconceived notions and ideas, and you never know, your path may end up being smooth. Next is never go against your gut. Your gut feelings come from your own experiences, your worldview, your values. If your gut is telling you something isn't right, don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to find someone and tell them or challenge the status quo. Now, I know at times this can feel difficult or even dangerous, but I promise you, no matter what situation you are in, there will always be someone who you can trust, who you can turn to. Find that someone. Or even better, hopefully they have found you first. And that leads into the next one. Don't look back, you are never completely alone. Now, I know the Cold War spies probably thought about this in a different way, but to me this is encouraging. I have the privilege of not being the first. I have the privilege of supportive parents who encourage me to do whatever I set my mind to. Not everyone has had this. There are many women who have gone before me who have done the hard work, faced the prejudices, the difficulties, and fought the battles so my path can be easier. And this is only going to snowball and improve. There will be always someone there who you can relate to, who you can ask for advice, who you can cry with, who you can laugh with. And also, don't discredit support from the majority side. Some of my male colleagues are my best friends. They support me, I support them. We are a team, we are in this together, we are not alone. And as you climb your ladder, try and bring people up with you so they are not alone too. Go with the flow, blend in. Now this one's a little bit more controversial, but sometimes you have to play the game to change the game. And playing the game means getting selected onto the team in the first place. Men and women are different. These differences aren't necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes we have to acknowledge them, adapt to them, and work with them. Don't harass the opposition. The value of diversity is the experience of diversity. People don't know what they don't know and what they haven't seen. My tall white male colleagues can't know what my experiences have been. They have never had to be the only female in a room full of loud, confident men who talk over you. But I don't necessarily have to be angry about this. If your goal is to help bring change and add value with your diversity, we can do this by educating the cohort. It is better to educate, not harass. Inform, not antagonise. People aren't going to listen to you if you piss them off. How many times have you heard someone say, "Oh, that's very interesting, do go on," when you've been berating them? Help change things by educating and encouraging. This leads into pick the time and place for action. Words have power, but when they become white noise, they have less power. Trying to bring change by berating everyone about the same thing over and over every day is futile. By picking the right time and the right place for action, you can be more powerful rather than yelling about the same thing over and over. I'm not saying don't yell and don't speak up, just be aware of becoming angry background noise. Help change the status quo by showing up, aiming up, and bringing others up with you. And lastly, keep your options open. The sky is the limit to what you want to achieve, but more importantly, what you are willing to try for. If having kids is something you want to do, you make it work. If being a leader is something you want to do, don't assume that others won't follow you. Be aware of opportunities on offer and put yourself forwards. Put your hand up, say yes, even if you don't think you are qualified enough, because I can tell you many of your male colleagues will not hesitate to do so. Sometimes, changing your direction of travel is a good option too. As any good spy would tell you, having an escape route when your path is not seeming to work out isn't giving up, it's living to fight another day. So please, try the road less travelled. It can be a fun-filled, wonderful journey. It leads to many new and exciting destinations, and it can help us reroute the road for the better. Even in the most challenging environments, there are opportunities to blossom. Now, Jane has had a happy ending. She's been referred to see a surgeon, male, female, it doesn't really matter, but they were someone who was kind, compassionate, aware of their own bias and Jane's individualities, because they had worked with people from all different walks of life. They listened to her concerns, and Jane's knee has never felt better. Thank you.